This is day one for Xbox Gamescom. So I hope you enjoy it. And I was supposed to do this during the event, but I didn't get a chance because of work and everything. But I'm gonna go ahead and get it set up and done.
Modus makes it simple for employers to create and administer BYO reimbursement programs that delight their workers. Options are available for any combination of smartphones, tablets, broadband internet, and home office reimbursements. Different job roles have different business use demands, so we made it easy to set up multiple program profiles. By using a comprehensive data-driven approach to costs, including insurance, local taxes and fees, and device depreciation, Modus ensures employers have confidence in these reimbursement amounts. The dashboard is used to monitor policy compliance, reimbursement history, and more. Need a more detailed view? Export reimbursement history for program groups and individual users. Modus has solutions where everyone wins. Are you ready? Learn more about Modus BYO today.
Concentrate fire on the target. Enemy battleship sunk. Enemy battleship detected. Enemy submarine spotted. Attention. Reporting the target position. Enemy heavily damaged. Enemy battleship detected.
Hello from Germany and welcome to the biggest gaming convention in the world from the largest Xbox booth in Gamescom history.
That's right, Maxi. More than 45,000 square feet, 39 titles, 150 gaming stations, and 3 massive theaters. This epicenter of gaming is our home for the next 3 days as we catch up with some of the minds behind the most anticipated titles.
Plus, we'll take you on the floor as fans from around the world get their hands on the newest games, expansions, and updates coming to Xbox and PC.
And today we will hang out with Todd Howard and Pete Hines of Bethesda to talk about Starfield.
And head of Xbox Phil Spencer pulls back the curtain on his Gamescom experience with a live interview right here on the Xbox booth stage.
And Rod Ferguson from Blizzard gives us all the hot takes on Diablo 4. And we're also celebrating a big birthday for ID at Xbox. It was announced 10 years ago at Gamescom.
Plus, we've got gameplay demos from games like Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition, which, in case you missed it, just last night had a massive shadow drop onto console.
That's right, yesterday's opening night live was epic. So if you didn't see it live, don't worry, let us quickly bring you up to speed on the Xbox headlines. Starfield, the opener, what was going on?
It was unbelievable. We got to see that live action demo for the first time, and the reception that it's gotten from not only at opening night live, but also here on the show floor at Gamescom has been incredible. It just looks exceptional, and like, things that people are getting to experience at the Starfield Theater, which we'll talk about in a little bit, right? It's been amazing. You've seen everyone coming out there like super excited. And as you can see from the trailer, it is just stunning.
Yeah.
One of the most anticipated games, I think.
I know, I'm so jealous of everyone that's already been in the Starfield Theater. Like, I'm going immediately after this. We need to go and see it. I also, the massive announcement, Age of Empires 4 finally on consoles. I love playing Age 2 on controller and things, so having fan favorite Age of Empires 4 now available is so exciting for Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One too.
Yeah, but we also got love for the PC fans, right? So it was our history untold with the first gameplay trailer that we saw back when we announced it in 2022. And you could see how this game turns out in terms of, we saw battle scenes, we saw heroes, the diversity of heroes. So you would have a George Washington who would be more on military, a strategy guy, and then the other one was from Greece, who maybe is more into building masterpieces and epic cities. So it really speaks to the depth of a strategy game, and looking forward to see it later on this week.
It looks awesome. And like, there was so many like personal highlights for me from that opening night live as well. Like, I'm a big Call of Duty fan, all right? So you might know, man. Like, you know, we play every so often, but seeing Modern Warfare 3 for the first time, after we already knew about the improvements that they've been making to like the movement and the increase of time to kill, and seeing that campaign for the very first time, and like seeing like locations that, if you're a Call of Duty fan, that you're going to know and love, like Prison, like seeing Dam from Verdansk, really exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait for zombies as well. I love the scary, spooky elements of games like that. So I was really excited to see Little Nightmares 3 announced as well. I love the first two, so this one's really good to look forward to. I also loved, it's here on the shop floor as well, the Black Myth Wukong as well. I'm so excited to play that because I love games like Sekiro and Wolong.
You just like hard games. Any game that's like just difficult to complete, that's just you.
I like a little challenge, but yeah. What about your personal highlight, Maxie?
Yeah, definitely had a highlight, and that was the Sustainability Award. So we won Green Game Studio of the Year. It could be studio/publisher/company. And it's really about anything due to the core values that the company and Xbox brings to reduce your carbon footprint, but also how you built this booth, basically. What's up with reusable items? How do you set up the light? Do you use LED lights? And then the highlight of that submission, and basically how we won it, is the Developer Sustainability Toolkit that helps developers like 343, Epic with Fortnite to measure their energy consumption and the carbon emission.
Yeah.
Like, it's also such a huge booth, so just seeing like all the stuff that's gone into it just to kind of like help that side is incredible as well.
It looks great, and honestly, we've got so much to look forward to over the next 3 days, including some giveaways for you guys. Those watching us on Twitch will have a chance to be entered into a raffle for some sweet prizes. Wonder what they are.
Do love a giveaway, right? You just can't go wrong, so make sure to get yourselves involved in that. But next up, we travel to a world not so far away. In fact, it's right next door at the Starfield Theatre, and I got a chance to chat with Bethesda's very own Todd Howard about the upcoming release and the out-of-world experience the team has for audiences here at Gamescom. Thanks, Todd, so much for joining us. We're here at the Starfield Theatre. What are fans expecting to see?
We're actually showing everybody the beginning of the game here. It's kind of edited down, but they get to see how it starts, a little bit of character creation, and then they're off on adventure.
Yeah, brilliant. I've seen some of the reactions of people coming out, and it's like everyone looks super excited.
All right, good.
Can't wait to see. Also, how's it back home? How are the team holding up with this close to launch?
This is, it's tight time. I mean, the game's pretty much done. We're doing a couple final tweaks. There's a lot of things that go into a game of this scale actually launching, but super excited. We love the game. We put so much into it. We just hope, everybody out there loves it as well.
Yeah, I know everyone's super excited. And being here at Gamescom, what goes into the preparation for yourselves and like the team at Xbox?
Well, you look at this booth, I mean, I don't know, you're asking the wrong person. I look at this and it's just incredible, the scale of everything. I don't think the camera can capture it. I'm kind of blown away. For us, we put a video together. It gets a little bit easier to make videos when the game is just about to come out because things are done. So honestly, our part was easy, super exciting to be here and see the excitement from the fans. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the booth here is massive, but Starfield itself is one of the largest game undertakings that we've ever seen. What are fans going to expect when they get their hands on the game?
Well, I think, if they played our previous games where you can kind of make the character you want and go do what you want, it's hard to express how big the game feels when you play it. Like, there's a planet. I can really land anywhere. And it is a game, even I will admit, that you sit down, you're like, I'll play for a half hour, then 3 hours go by, and you're like, what? It's just, I like to say the more that you give to Starfield, the more you put into it, the more it gives back.
Yeah, I'm personally super excited to get my hands on it. Also, I'm going to go and experience the experience for myself. Hopefully security let me, but thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I just hope everybody loves the game.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Hey there everyone, I'm so excited to be joining you here at Gamescom with the rest of the Xbox On team. But while Benny's trying to dodge that security at the Starfield Theatre experience, we've actually got our very first giveaway. So why don't you guys type !day1 in Twitch chat for a chance to win a whole month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But joining me right now is Bethesda's very own Pete Hines to talk about more Starfield. Pete, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. It must feel good to be back at Gamescom as well.
It is. This is a show I've been to a lot of times and over the years, and it's always a great crowd. It's honestly, it's amazing to bump into fans I recognize, to see folks, and honestly to be back in person. It's something we haven't gotten to do a whole lot of, and as Todd was just saying, you can really feel the energy from the fans, how excited they are, how much they're looking forward to it. It honestly, it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a really special place for that, I think. But so many of the fans that are here today and watching from home are just kind of waited with bated breath for what's to come for Starfield. But these last few days ahead of launch, what do they tend to look like for you and for the rest of the team?
It's in some ways it's probably the most difficult part of a campaign. Because number one, how close it is. Number two, the amount of work that our teams right now, and shout out to all of those folks who are, number one, crushing it, doing an amazing job with the trailer at ONL last night and everything that's been a part of this campaign. They are working so hard. And you're also just sitting here where you've now given the game to a bunch of people, to press, to influencers, and you don't really know what they think or how they're feeling. And so it's a little bit helpless, so we try and focus on the things that we can control, and most of all, we're just so excited for next week and to get this into people's hands.
I mean, I personally kind of love that confidence of being able to hand it off to press and reviewers and influencers fairly early for what most games marketing tends to do. To me, that speaks we love what we've done with this game. It's now time for you guys to really have a go with it.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, there's really not an amount of time that I'm comfortable enough of now you've played enough Starfield to get what this game is, because I'm at 150, 160 hours on my current playthrough, and I haven't even come close to there is so much stuff I have intentionally not done. It's we try and tell everybody how big this game is, and the folks that are playing it, one of the few things they will tell us is, you weren't kidding how big, I can't believe how big it is. It's content and explore, no matter how you want to play, there is so much for you to do in this game.
You mentioned opening night live, and we'll talk about it in a sec, but I just kind of want to know why it was so important to bring the experience of Starfield that you have to this audience right here at Gamescom.
I mean, for one thing, our games have always done really well in Germany. It's obviously, it's a really well-known PC market, and we obviously came from being an indie PC developer and publisher before we were anything else. But this audience and role-playing games and what they mean in Germany, it's a very popular genre, and across Elder Scrolls and Fallout, Bethesda Game Studios has got a really big following in this territory, and for all the folks who come to Cologne who aren't in Germany. And we just felt this close to launch, to try and do something special for them, to sort of surprise and delight, and to just be here and to, take pictures or have a conversation or whatever. We want to make sure that they feel as special as they are to us.
It's cool for me to see that you've got that glass cabinet full of all the different Starfield paraphernalia. We got the Series X console wrap, we got the Constellation Edition watch, and that helps me feel at least we're so tangible. It's it's right there. I can even grab it. We're so close to launch.
Plus, it's really good shopping for birthdays.
Oh yeah.
I want that. I need that.
Yeah. You've got the watch on already.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Trust me.
I love the watch. We're really excited both for how good the game is, but the way in which Xbox has supported us with console wraps and the controller and the headset is the best piece of hardware. They are so good. I use them nonstop. Full credit to that team. But across Xbox, the way that they have stepped up and supported and amplified Starfield in every way possible has been just awesome to be a part of. We're so pleased for all of the support that they've given us.
You're just helping me dress my entire house in Starfield stuff at this point, so I'm happy enough as it is.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
We did get to see quite a lot of Starfield. You had a new trailer last night at Opening Night Live. Todd came on stage to chat a bit more about what that opening sequence looks like, that players can expect. But why don't you catch us up more on the news of the day, really, for Starfield?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to say, I am a few weeks away, whatever the number is, 6 or 7, from 24 years at this company. Wow. That is the best trailer we've ever made, and I will have words with anybody who says otherwise. It is my favorite thing. I had absolutely nothing to do with that trailer, full disclosure. That is my team. That is Aaron Losey's team going out and making that happen. And
get your flowers, guys.
The tone that it hits, the way that it hits that feel of not just what it's like to play the game, but sort of the hopefulness, the lifting others up. I think it's brilliant. But you know, it's not just that. It's hey, we've got wraps for your Xbox console. You know, something Xbox has never offered that look really great. You know, we've released a bunch of new wallpapers, desktop wallpapers and phone wallpapers that have been amazing. Like we are now in the point I said last night to the folks after dinner. Like there is no emergency brake anymore on this launch, folks. Like we're a go whether we're ready or not. So everybody, like, make sure your seatbelt is fastened because this is happening, and it's, you know, there are very few chances. Todd and I try and reinforce this to our respective teams as much as we can. You don't get many opportunities at a game like this. Games of any kind, you know, is a finite number for anybody in development or publishing. But for something like this, for as special as it is, for as long as I've been here and to see what these different launches are, you can tell when something special is happening, and I think Starfield is that. And, you know, I really have tried to emphasize to our teams, like, amidst all of the hard work, like, please find time to enjoy this, because you never know when you get another chance to be a part of something as special as this.
Talking about the stewardship that you and Todd have over this team to bring something like Starfield to players out there, and it often gets described as, oh, it's an open world game, but that feels like a bit of a disservice because it's not just the one world, it's thousands that we can explore, and it's a sprawling open world experience across like a real good portion of the galaxy. I mean, what is it like to actually have to lead a team on such an endeavor as that, where it's grand scale that we've seen and all the detail as well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as you all have seen, as you've watched how we've talked about Starfield, it really required us to push ourselves in terms of how do you get the rest of the world to wrap its head around a game of this size and scope. I mean, it is literally, it feels when you're playing it almost like there are a bunch of different games inside of one game, and I get to decide how much time I want to spend in a way that you haven't really seen in a Fallout or Skyrim. I mean, those things are still, you know, oh, I can spend all my time just picking flowers in the Elder Scrolls. Like, yes, you can, but it doesn't feel as wholly different as like the entire space game that exists, the entire live on a planet, just like the freeform exploration, the combat, the which factions taking sides, the player. It's just amazing to see it all, how it all comes together, but explaining that to folks in a way that is digestible. You know, it's how you end up with something like Starfield Direct, which, I mean, it's basically a feature film that we created just to explain to folks and to talk to folks about, not just explain what the game is, but do it in a way that I just thought was really authentic, and hearing from the people making it, how they think about both creating it, how they think about playing it, and seeing the way that resonated with players, I think was really special.
One thing that really grabs me, I think, is the love that's being poured into like Radiant Quest systems, and just allowing those new and unique experiences for people to have, no matter where they are in the galaxy, whether they are just flying around in space, whether they are out there just maybe mining some rocks or looking at new fauna, flora, etc. It's a really cool way to involve them in new stories that they perhaps weren't searching for, but now they're being like collided into, and it's just juicy. You want to dive.
And then because we made an irresponsibly large game, we take it to another level that I think, and this is one of the things I'm looking for. We've seen it ourselves. Like, I was just talking to a couple of folks from our Benelux office who were like, you know, they've both played, you know, about the same amount of time, like, you know, 40 hours or 60 hours, but their experiences were like, we didn't do any of the same things at all, like not even close. And just with that, and then the whole, like, locations aren't the same for every person. Like what you and I find going to explore this planet, I can't just tell you, you should go here and land here and find this. Like, yeah, that might not be there for you. Like, you get to find and have an experience that truly feels like your own, in a way that I think folks are gonna really enjoy and appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bite of that in the Starfield Direct, like you mentioned. I mean, Jamie Mallory literally coming out and saying, oh, well, hold my sandwich, I'm grabbing them all here. And it's just, it does speak to that unique way that every player can tackle whatever situation they do come across, or even just back down to character creation. And that's that jumping off point of deciding, here's what I'm going to start off as. I have no idea where that journey is going to take me and how it might change me as a player, me as a character in this game. And it's all really fascinating. But what are the sorts of way that you tend to play it? I mean, I know you've poured in some time now, but...
Well, look, when we're in this phase and like leading up, I don't play like I would, like, I don't play like I'm about to when I get back home, where like, okay, now I'm going to start like this is Pete's
You got a job to do right now.
Up to this point, it's been Bethesda's character, and sort of the way I've approached it is sort of, testing. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been interacting with our players playing Bethesda Game Studio stuff for a long time, so we know how they think. And I talked to Jamie after E3, and she's like, I don't get this. Like, why is this such a thing? And I said, Jamie, what you did is you tapped into the silliness factor that you sort of tend to forget. Like, you talk about Starfield, and yeah, but it's still fun. Like, it's supposed to be about fun, and you put your finger sort of right on the pulse of the kind of nonsense that our players love to get up to, because we make a game that is about freedom, right? Like, we embrace chaos. We give players more freedom than I think in a game like this than people really dare to in their games. Like, that's part of what makes Starfield special. And look, that creates situations that we have to do a lot of work to make sure, like, this doesn't break, this doesn't create problems. But the payoff for that and like what players are allowed to do, like, wait, I can do this? Like, I can spend all my time doing something as ridiculous as this? Yes, like, if that's what you want the game to be about, that's what you should do. But we want you to go and push and try all of the different ways, because it's really not about like our story or how we want you to play, it's about how you want to play. So when I play, I spend time, like, I'm gonna spend a week and not land on a planet. Like, what's it like to just be in outer space, spend all my time in outer space, landing on star stations, derelict ships, doing all this stuff. And then I'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna go land in this city, and I wanna see how long I can spend not leaving this city. Like, how many factions can I find? How many quests can I do? And I'll get to decision points where it's like, look, you're about to, like, you have to pick a side here. And I'll make a save, and like, I'm gonna play this way, and I'm gonna go 2 hours down the road just to see, like, how does that feel? And then rewind and play it 2 hours the other direction, just because I wanna know, like, what should our players expect? How does this, and just trying to do that in as many ways as possible. Just land on a random planet and just start walking. Like, what's this like? How fun is this? And the more of it you do, the more you find, like, there's 1,000 hours in this version of the game alone. Like, if you don't even touch it, it's crazy. And like, my one piece of advice to folks is, do not ignore your activities. Like, that's almost, it feels like throwaway stuff that the game is giving you. Like, there is some amazing stuff in there that doesn't even feel like a real quest, but like will take you to some amazing places and amazing stories. We encourage you to play this like any BGS game, which is like, do what you want, go where you want, test the game, you know, be the kind of player, the kind of person you want to be in this world, and see what happens.
I get chills thinking about what I'm going to get up to.
It's going to be a lot. We cannot wait to see all the stories and how people choose to express themselves in this game. It's going to be amazing.
I got one more question I just have to ask you.
Okay.
I know you're a fan, but are Arsenal going to win the league?
Yes.
You heard it here. Thanks again, Pete.
Remember,
though, you guys can play Starfield day and date on Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass starting September 6th. But if you can't wait that long like me, early access is going to kick off on August the 31st with the Digital Premium Edition, Digital Premium Upgrade, or the Constellation Edition. But coming up, we've got Blizzard here to talk Diablo 4. We're celebrating 10 years of ID at Xbox titles, and Phil Spencer himself is going to stop by and talk new releases and what he can't wait for fans to experience here at Gamescom.
I love this part.
I'll follow you from here on out, Captain.
When it comes to increasing your fleet's productivity and cost efficiency, setting measurable key performance indicators, or KPIs, is the best way to gauge the success of your fleet management strategy. Here are 6 KPIs you should be tracking.
Would you believe me if I said that a day consists of more than 24 hours?
That's the dark hour. A time period hidden between one day and the next.
What are you talking about? What happened to our school?
You saw them. Those creatures. We call them shadows. They only appear during the dark hour and attack anyone who roams free outside the colonies. Shadows can only be defeated by Persona users. It's our job to defeat them. Pretty exciting, huh?
We've prepared an evoker for you. We'd like you to lend us your strength.
Come, Persona! Let's do it.
Why, hello everyone. I'm so excited to be joining you once again for Gamescom with the rest of the Xbox On team hosting the crew. Now it's time to head to the lands betwixt the high heavens and burning hells, and to be totally honest, I can't think of better guides than Blizzard's Rod Bergson and Chris Wilson somewhere next to me. Hello, hello, how are we both? Are we well?
Fantastic.
Good, love that. Right, Chris, I'm going to come to you first. So, Diablo 4, Season of Blood, was all over Opening Night Live last night. But I want you to wrap up some of the key announcements that fans should be super stoked about, just in case they missed it.
Sure. So the Season of Blood will launch on October 17th. We're really excited. The reason why we named it the Season of Blood is we're actually going to be bringing vampires into the world of Sanctuary.
Well, yeah, makes space. It's not like you're turning the whole place into a bright red swimming pool. There are other reasons, yeah.
Precisely. So what's really exciting about that is we're going to have a new quest line. There's going to be a new villain, a vampire villain who's basically bringing his minions into Sanctuary. And you as the player need to obviously thwart this threat. And in doing so, you'll partner with a vampire hunter, voiced by Gemma Chan.
Yeah.
So we're super excited to have her join the cast, the talented cast of voiceover actors on the game. In addition, you'll have access to new vampiric powers. So that's really going to change up the gameplay for our players.
Yeah, big time.
Really excited about that. New legendary weapons and items that you can collect.
Yeah,
new
the hunt
uniques.
begins all over again to find them, huh?
Precisely. So super excited. October 17th will be a big day.
Brilliant. It's going to be so good. And Rod, I hear that on top of everything else you've got going on this week, that there's something that you brought specifically to the show here, and that's a trivia question that you want to pose to Twitch chat, which, by the way, Rod does have his eyes on chat. I think he's very distracted. So if anyone wants to pass a message on while you're doing this,
I know, it's
then
very
go
distracting to watch the chat go by as we're talking. I do have a question, and he almost ruined it. So I was watching.
I made a point not to. I didn't know.
The question is, we announced last night that Gemma Chan is a character in the Season of Blood. What is the name of that character, the vampire hunter who is going to guide you through your journey of the Season of Blood?
We did get close to that then, huh?
We did.
Yeah, well, maybe people weren't listening. Maybe it's something to figure out. There you go. Well, the people, someone who's going to get that right in chat is actually going to be winning an Xbox Series X Diablo 4 console.
Awesome.
So don't mess about with your answers. If you want to win it, put the right one in chat for me, please. But Chris, we're going to go back to you now again. With Season of the Malignant in full swing and thoroughly on quick resume on my console as well. I want to know, with the approach of Season of Blood coming up, what have you learned so far from the reactions of this first season?
So player feedback has been very important to the team. So throughout development, and obviously as we kind of gotten through launch, we've been very keen on understanding what are the emergent themes, what are the things that the pain points that players are experiencing, and how do we fold those fixes into our future seasons. And so for Season 2, there are a number of quality of life improvements that we'll be adding, in addition to all the really cool content. So a few examples, inventory space with gems in particular has been...
Because I do find myself going back quite often going, I like these, I would do something with them, but you just need to get out from them.
Exactly.
I like picking up everything. Even when I get to high level, I'm not just picking up the yellow stuff or the red, I'm getting everything. So
yeah.
That's a good one to know.
Yeah, so we'll be making some changes there to make that easier for players to manage. Similarly, there's some improvements around our resistances system, how we manage resistances and vulnerable for players. So yeah, just always trying to look to improve, take stock of the things that are pain points and how do we make that better for the future.
I think the Renown system is something that's a real great example of that as we go through the different seasons. So at launch, the Renown system, which was go do all these different things in the world. Well, when at launch, we intended for you to do everything every season.
Yeah.
And we heard lots of feedback in the preseason, oh, we don't want to find the altars of Lilith. Oh, we don't want to clear the map again. So for Season 1, we made a fix, and now you took that with you. Now during Season 1, we're hearing oh, we don't, if we completed it, just mark it completed and let us
if
move
I've got
on.
my shrines, let me keep the shrines,
exactly.
please.
Let me,
yeah.
And the side quests, and so that's what we're doing for Season 2, is that all that renown is coming forward. So whether you did it on the internal realm, did it on the seasonal realm, it'll be done in Season 2.
So the completionists are thrilled.
Yeah, so they'll start Season 2 with all those Paragon points, all those ovals, it'll be so much better.
Oh, amazing. That sounds fantastic. In fact, I want to come back to you, Rod, on this bit as well. As well as improving those bits and pieces throughout the seasons, as you've mentioned, you're also, and have announced that you're working on the end game experience in Diablo 4. So I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit more about that. I'll be totally transparent. I'm not there yet myself because I'm still doing all the bits on the side. I get very, very interested. So what is the end game experience and how's it improving?
Well, the end game experience is that part we talk about generally from level 50 to level 100. So usually when you play the campaign, you finish about the mid 40s to early 50s. And so one of the things we want to do is, as we've been, looking at the different seasons, each season we want to keep enhancing that end game, give people more things to do. And we're doing that for season 2. We're introducing these 5 additional end game bosses that along the way that you have these milestones that to start at level 55, and as you go up, you have this new boss to go after to test your build and challenge. But what's really cool about them is that they actually will drop uniques, and are uber uniques, which have a very low drop rate. These have a much higher drop rate of those, things those unique things that could really make your build shine. And so that's going to be really exciting to be able to go and farm those uniques from those bosses. And it even leads into season 3. We're not really talking that much about season 3.
Oh, darn it, I'll just go then.
Seems like this Diablo 4 is going to be a
badass
game dropping out October.
So again, every season we want to be like, okay,
Definitely looking
continue
forward
to make
to
the
seeing
game better
it
for
and
players,
playing it.
and Endgame is one of those things.
Yeah, and then vampires.
Yes.
Point number 2 on the list, vampires.
And vampires, yes. So, I mean, it's all about the blood.
Exactly, it's season of blood. There you go. So the last thing I want to ask is if anyone in chat or anyone
Especially since
anywhere has been
they're
any major
putting in the
city
vampires and the vampire abilities and stuff. This is
mega
definitely going to be
marketing
awesome.
that's been going on. You've also had collabs with Halsey, Megan Fox. If you're in Berlin, there was a Lilith statue. In London, we had a chocolate shop. So I'd love to hear from you both what it's been like to see and feel Diablo 4 turn into this cultural phenomenon and this iconic game that it is.
Yeah, it was really important for us as we think about the marketing for Diablo. One is we wanted a game for all players. We didn't want it just to be about, oh, this is for the ultra core. We wanted to make sure that anybody could play Diablo 4. And as part of that, we wanted to raise that out of the industry genre sort of marketing and get into that sort of pop culture or entertainment. And so that was a big thing for us. And with 12 million players and 1.3 billion hours played,
those are some good numbers.
Yeah,
I like that.
So it was pretty awesome. And to see even Whoopi Goldberg, mad at me because it didn't support it on the Mac. It was very surreal moments.
What happens when Whoopi Goldberg gets involved and is
I don't know, but she apparently was not happy with us.
You didn't have a crisis con plan for that one?
No, I mean, we sort of reached out to say, we can help you with this, but anyway. So it's those sorts of things where you just go this is crazy, the level. And, when we saw that Halsey and Suga collab, and there's a chance they could be nominated for a Grammy. That's crazy, right? To be part of video game marketing. But that was really what we think about Diablo is it's been around for 26 years, and we really think of it more as an entertainment, it's part of entertainment industry and not just the game industry. And it was really nice to be able to elevate it while we were launching.
Oh, amazing. And especially welcoming everyone to hell was inspired, I must say.
I know, though I'm Canadian, I had nothing to do with the Canadian wildfires that sort of gave us the smoke in New York. It was a horrible reason to have a viral moment, but it was if it was going to go wrong, it went wrong at the right time.
There you go. Well, wonderful. I want to thank you both so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm afraid we can't talk any longer, though, because it's now time to celebrate 10 years since Idea Xbox program was born here at Gamescom. It has brought us an unforgettable lineup of indie titles, such as Cuphead, Celeste, Among Us, many, many, many more. Chat, tell me the rest of them. So let's celebrate by checking out what it takes to bring these unique games to Xbox and why today's mega milestone is so important for indie games everywhere.
I think the true innovation that is happening in the industry for games right now is actually happening in the independent space.
Indies can try new things. They can try bizarre things. They can afford to fail.
They're not afraid to go outside of the comfort zone of what is currently popular, what will make the most money.
It's often generated by an idea that's grown from a personal experience or personal desire to play a specific type of game.
Big studios may be risk-averse when it comes to trying out new things, new ideas, new features. Our independent developers are the ones who are really tip of the spear for a lot of that. They're taking risks, they're bold. They're the ones that are really doing the things that are innovating and helping to attract and welcome more people to the space.
I've been making games since 1985, before there really was a game industry. Back in the day, the indie scene was shareware. You know, you put shareware on a floppy disk and you get it out there to as many people as possible. You could always make games, but getting them in front of people was always a problem. There's a lot to do because true indie developers are responsible for the game, obviously, and then also marketing and PR and distribution.
We all came with this kind of old school mentality that you needed a big publisher, you can't build your own team, and all of this mindset that kept our thinking a little bit too small.
And I think a lot of that changed in the early 2000s with the rise of things like the Xbox program and Steam and all this stuff.
It was really a different time. We were just at the dawn of digital downloads. And today, it just seems like hard to even imagine that there wasn't a world where everything was digitally downloaded. But Xbox Live Arcade clearly showed that like digitally downloading games was like an amazing way forward. The first games I worked on for XBLA were Joust, Robotron, and Defender. But quickly, developers saw this amazing opportunity. Like, wait a minute, I can make a game for a couple dozen megabytes and sell it directly to consumers for $5, or $10, or $15. The popularity vastly outstripped anything that Microsoft ever expected when it started the program. They thought it was going to be kind of cool to have some neat downloadable arcade games or puzzle games, and what they got was some of the most like innovative and progressive independent games that have ever been created. And you saw games like Castle Crashers and Braid and, you know, everything else just explode. Was actually happening faster than Microsoft could really respond to it on 360. And as we got into the Xbox One era, we realized, you know, we needed to take the next step for independent developers. So I was one of the people who helped co-found the ID program way back in the day, 10 years ago now.
We were seeing an opportunity where more independent developers could actually bring their games without having a publisher.
Back in the day, it was really hard to get dev kits. To get games on Xbox, developers needed kits. And so we made a commitment early on that every developer is going to get access to 2 dev kits at no charge. We knew if we could do those things, make it easy to ship, enable developers to do what they want, to be their own publishers, we knew that we would be giving Xbox players access to this amazing variety of content, and we knew that Xbox players would respond. The next thing was to go to Cologne and announce it.
Here we are, it's that time of the year again. Cologne, Germany for Gamescom.
My favorite time of the year.
We had like more than 1,000 people apply in the first hour after we announced it until the website crashed. I think the big thing that we understood by the end of the show was like, oh my gosh, we have so much work to do.
Boom! That'll slow them down.
We wanted a program that made sure that people who we had never heard of would be able to come to Xbox and have fantastic success. And so whether you were a long-standing developer or whether you were like, you know, 2 brothers in Canada who had like a bonkers idea to hand draw every frame of a video game, we wanted to make sure Xbox was there for you.
Our original team started off with my brother Jared Moldenhauer and I always wanting to make a video game. And as we got through some initial ideas and some initial concepts and how the game was going to go, we pulled in my wife, Maya Moldenhauer, and we started as this small, tight-knit team and expanded from there.
Studio MDHR at the time, you know, was a wonderful small family based in Canada who had this amazing game.
They had a vision for a game that is unlike any game anybody's ever made before. You can say, oh, there's been run and gun games before. There've been hand-drawn games before. Nobody ever thought to put them together the way they did.
art style of Cuphead was influenced heavily by the 1930s rubber hose cartoons. So we took that art style and married it with the retro games from the 1980s era that we grew up and loved. Marrying those two together, Cuphead was the byproduct.
The game is so cute, it's beautiful, it's also very challenging.
It was less a choice of us wanting to make the game hard just to make it hard, and more of the fact that Cuphead had to be hard to be a fun game. We had to love every aspect of what we were doing, and that means every creative decision had to be something we truly loved.
The thing that stands out in my mind was we were down in LA at E3 and we were announcing Cuphead. They announced the date and everybody goes crazy. It was just such an amazing moment.
That feeling is still very raw. I almost get choked up sometimes when we talk about it because, you know, we talk about how we had put so much on the line. To step foot on that stage and not know whether or not we would ever even make our money back, whether or not we would ever be able to make another game, to see the fans' response to that announcement change the course of our lives.
They've had so much success now. You can get a marionette, you can watch a Netflix show, you can get like a, a pencil case. It's so cool to see Cuphead everywhere. But in a lot of ways, it was kind of like the prototypical, what we were hoping was going to happen when I Did Xbox started.
Hello all, thank you for coming to this very important informational meeting.
One thing I can say about this is they're giving a lot of jewels and productivity and stuff with some of the new upcoming games for Xbox and PS5 and stuff.
We didn't have a ton of money for things like marketing PR.
But I apologize to you guys for not getting this up sooner, and it's coming out later. Original plan was I was going to live stream it for all 3 days, but work and stuff got in the way.
One of the key things of I Did Xbox is listen to the developers.
I still love you and still
when
putting
we
it out
want to
there for
get
you.
great games to players, the way you do that is by listening to developers and making sure you're making a program that works for them.
Astroneer is an independent title. The 4 founders really wanted to venture out on their own, start their own project, take ownership over every part of development. When the original team was building out the game, they were really looking for a creative partner to work with to execute on that vision and also give them a little room. And I Did Xbox stepped in and said, hey, we want you to make whatever you want to make, and we're going to give you the resources that you might not even know that you need in order to do that. We launched into game preview and into early access, and it saw amazing success right off the bat. And so I think once we realized that people were coming along on that ride with us, we just saw that as a way to just keep building it out. I mean, at this point now, I think we've updated like 40 times.
Do you want to play the latest PC games, but your computer looks like this? So you're stuck playing games like these. We got you. Tap into the Elite Gamer Network with high-speed connections to GeForce Now and thousands of games. Stream from world-class NVIDIA GPUs and play the latest games on the highest settings, even if your computer is a potato. We're giving away 3 months of NVIDIA GeForce Now's Ultimate Membership to anyone who subscribes to Elite Gamer's 3-month or 12-month cloud plan. Try Elite Gamer absolutely free for 7 days and see the difference for yourself.
I just lost thousands of dollars as a business until I started running my creatives on Snapchat ads. Right now, if you set up an ad account and spend $350, they will give you $375 in ad credit. Yup, $375. And now, this isn't some gimmicky course, but I want to show you why Snapchat can show you unreal results. It's their customers, it's their fan base, it's their tech. Snap users are connecting with their friends and family, and 9 out of 10 young people use Snapchat to communicate. 9 out of 10. Not only is the youth on this app, but Snap users have over $5 trillion in spending power. Not pushing your business on Snapchat is just asking to make less money. Snapchat is authentic and personable, making it the perfect place to build an even bigger customer base. Click below to start reaching Snapchatters ASAP.
Over the 10 years of ID at Xbox, we've been reaching developers, having a lot of cool developers bring their games to the platform. But we also recognize that there's more that we can do to reach our underrepresented developers. The mission of the Developer Acceleration Program is to empower underrepresented developers with the information and resources needed to bring their creativity, innovation, and originality to Xbox. We're talking about teams, including but not limited to studios led by women, studios led by people of color, studios led by members of the LGBTQI+ community or indigenous people. There's a studio that's focusing on accessibility.
Hello, little fella.
Another group of developers that we support through the DAP program are developers in parts of the world that are underrepresented from a game development standpoint. I recently had the chance to attend the big festival in Brazil. There's a studio called Sudaril. They're making a game called One Beat Men. This is a game about Afro-Brazilians and beatboxing.
Raji is a game by Notting Head Games from India. They made this beautiful game. It's an action-adventure game revolved around this young female protagonist. There's a lot of adaptation from the mythology from India. It's just very authentically Indian.
A Space for the Unbound, which is a game from Indonesia, is a really, really beautifully crafted game. It's just a really nice gameplay experience where you get to learn about a different culture.
As we start to empower more of these studios to tell more of their stories, I think we're going to see more diversity in the games that are coming to the platform, more diversity in the gamers that are playing these games.
We made this little program to try and enable developers, and it's awesome, but developers are the people should be thinking about.
The types of games that we see in genre, in style, in art, in region, in the size of the developers, the story they're trying to tell, it has increased in the last 10 years, and I see that continuing to rise.
Whenever you're building art, it's like it's a part of your soul, right? You're putting yourself out there when you have your art, whether it's a painting or music or a game.
I think it's very important for companies like Microsoft to pay attention and help the independent community. It changes that old way of thinking that you can't break into the industry, and now it actually lets the next generation of people truly dig in. We're going to see so many more new and creative ideas that's going to push and drive innovation moving forward into the future.
Joining me now is a true champion of indie titles, Mr. Chris Charlotte. Chris, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, thank you.
Awesome, it's so good to have you here at Gamescom and chat to you where it all began for ID at Xbox. 10 years ago, in 2013, ID at Xbox was born at Gamescom. Can you tell us what a decade really means to you and the team at Xbox?
It's really amazing because it feels like it was yesterday. I'm walking around, I'm getting all these memories, and it feels like yesterday, but it was actually 10 years. It's like 20% of the length of the game industry ago. And to me, the fact that we're still seeing incredible support for indie games just shows like how foundational they've become to Xbox and to the game industry too. So it's just super cool.
Yeah, super cool. I totally agree. Speaking of memories, things like that, I hear there's quite a fun story about Gamescom and how you came about with the name ID at Xbox. Care to share with us?
Sure, yeah. So now it can be told. We changed the name of the program 3 times in the 3 days before Gamescom. So we started with a name, and we all looked at it and trying to convince ourselves it was okay, and we were like, oh, that's not it. So then we had another meeting, we had our new name, and we were looking at it, and it was a 3-letter acronym, which we love at Microsoft. We have the Developer Acceleration Program, 3-letter acronym. But somebody just looked at it, a VP, and he just walked up to the whiteboard and crossed it out and just wrote ID at Xbox, independent developers at Xbox. You can't make it an acronym. You have to say it. It's just too important to leave to an acronym. And we're all just like, that's it. We're ordering new business cards, and we ordered business cards for the 3rd time in 3 days, and changed all the press releases. And 10 years later, I think it was a good name.
I think so too. It fits so well, especially for all of the games that I'm really excited to get hands-on on stream, as well as on the booth floor here at Xbox. I mean, we were chatting about Thirsty Suitors. That is one that I really can't wait to find out about. And Little Kitty Big City, obviously. Can you tell us about some of your highlights that you're excited for fans to see over Gamescom?
Oh yeah, well, you just named 2 of them. Another Crab's Treasure is another one. It's a Souls-like where you play a crab, which is everything I want in an indie game. And I actually just played Island of Winds like right before we went on, and I hadn't played it before, and it is creepy as heck, and it's just so good. I mean, I only got to play for like 5 minutes, and they just do such a good job of creating this atmospheric, creepy village that I'm just about to get to the first house and explore, and then now I'm here. But yeah, that game looks really cool. Cocoon. I think we have about a dozen games here from the ID at Xbox program, so super excited for people to check them out. And we've even got a couple games behind closed doors for the press to look at, and so very exciting.
Awesome. We need to have more of a chat and go and play these afterwards, because you named two of my favorite things, Souls-likes and horror games, so I can't wait to find out more. So that's what's happening this week and in the present. Can you tell us a little bit more about the future of ID at Xbox?
Yeah, so I mean, ID at Xbox has always been about empowering developers, and at GDC we announced we were going to make a couple changes to just try and do that better, always trying to improve. And actually Monday we launched a new portal for developers in the ID at Xbox program. If they go to their dev portal, you have to have an NDA and all that kind of thing. You can now directly pitch a game to Microsoft for a deal such as Game Pass or another deal opportunity. And it used to be that you sort of had to like meet somebody or know somebody, and we're always eager to meet people, but we can't meet everybody. And now any developer is going to be able to pitch their game, and we think that's just a great step to making sure that we see all the awesome content, and that means we can find the best games to share with Xbox players.
Sounds great. Definitely more accessible. I'm going to check out how to sign up as well. Where can developers find out more about that then?
Yeah, if they just go to xbox.com/ID, they can learn all about the program. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see lots of cool games.
We all love cool games. Well, Chris, thank you so much for chatting with us. We'll catch up over some games later, but we're going to find out more about 33 Immortals later today as well. Check out the latest maps in Flight Simulator, and I hear Phil Spencer's going to stop by and have a wee chat on the booth too. First, let's have a look at ID at Xbox's Steam World build and Worldless.
You see all those stars up there? That's where we'll live once we escape this world.
How will we get all the way up there, Pa?
I'll show you, hon. First, how about we build us a nice little town?
Okay, let's go.
We'll need the help of a whole lot of Steambots to make sure we get all the resources.
How will we do that, Pa?
We're gonna find all we need deep in the mines.
Are we gonna work in the mine, Pa?
No, I'll leave that to the professionals. Let's build us some defenses.
Hey, what are they doing?
They're collecting pieces of our rocket, hon.
Wow! When do we leave?
Real soon, hon. How about you search us a new home?
Hooray! I'll be at the observatory. I'll look for the nicest, best star. And we'll also have a movie theater, a roller coaster,
Modus makes it simple for employers to create and administer BYO reimbursement programs that delight their workers. Options are available for any combination of smartphones, tablets, broadband internet, and home office reimbursements. Different job roles have different business use demands, so we made it easy to set up multiple program profiles. By using a comprehensive data-driven approach to costs, including insurance, local taxes and fees, and device depreciation, Modus ensures employers have confidence in these reimbursement amounts. The dashboard is used to monitor policy compliance, reimbursement history, and more. Need a more detailed view? Export reimbursement history for program groups and individual users. Modus has solutions where everyone wins. Are you ready? Learn more about Modus BYO today.
Wow.
Help me! Help!
The Grand Mafia. Download for free.
Hello Gamescom, it's Melly and I'm so excited to help host this massive Xbox booth. We've got so much in store throughout this show and I can't wait for you to see it. But now it's time for another Xbox Game Pass Ultimate giveaway. So type !day1 in Twitch chat to be entered. But that's not all. We've been excited about this next title since it's made a splash earlier this summer on our Xbox Games Showcase and Extended. And now we're going to talk about 33 Immortals, and for that we have Nicola here. So Nicola, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Gamescom is always fire everywhere. It's fun. It's energizing. I love it.
That's so amazing. But first off, we got to start with a feature fans are excited about. So tell us more about Pick Up and Raid. So what can fans expect?
Yes. So traditionally, like in Raid, you have to like create a big group and plan a lot of things to like solve these kind of intricate puzzles. On our end, we want to try with 33 models to change the vibe of this and do a fresh take on this.
Yeah.
So what we want to propose to the player is that you open the game and you just jump into a fight right away, like without any wait and any planification. So let's say you're a player, you're alone, you go in alone and you just go through a portal and you'll be already fighting hordes of monsters and epic bosses. And you won't do it alone. You'll be also with 32 other players.
So what if I don't have 32 friends?
Exactly. Well, who does? Well, we do have 32 friends minimum, I hope for you. But let's be honest, do they play always the same game as you at the same time? No, they don't. And I think on my end, I only have like 2 or 3 that are at the same time playing the same thing. And this is what we wanted to also like avoid. It's going to be a seamless experience where you just jump in, matchmaking will be done automatically, and people will just join in. You can join alone and also with other people as well. You'll be able to queue up with a little party if you want of your own with friends, because we have friends, right?
Of course.
And then you'll be able to join and face all the different challenges and have tons of fun.
That sounds so amazing, actually. But what is your take on usual raid-like player roles?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
What is your take on usual raid-like player roles, like tanks, support?
So on our game, what we wanted to tackle is the fact that we are different. But in the same time, all the players start the same. So all we do with this is that we equip a weapon, and this weapon will define your role. We will use 4 different roles, tank, support, range, and melee. So for instance, we have the Bow of Hope. If you take that, that means you have a bow, you'll do damage from afar. That's more my style and more my gameplay. And this is like just our range fighter. On the other hand, we have just the sword, and with this one, you can dash. You can dish a lot of damage, and also you have a special attack that makes you guard. So it's more of a tank on the tank role. We'll make sure that we build these weapons to have all these roles supported. We are now working on the support and also on the melee one, and all this together will give like good gameplay combination.
That sounds so amazing, Nicolas. And I mean, this game is about so much more than just life and death. So please take us through how players begin the story and what progressing means to your overall goal.
Yeah, so our game, in fact, we start as a player that now is dead and is going to eternal life.
Okay.
And in fact, in this, the Almighty looked at you and saw that your life was full of sins and problems, so he's giving you eternal punishment. So it's not dramatic at all.
So we're fighting the Last Judgment, basically.
Almost.
Okay.
So then, when you go into the game, we took inspiration of the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, which is a poem from the 14th century, an Italian poem. And you start in the dark woods, this place where all the players will gather, and you're this like wandering souls, and other souls will come, and you just don't wait for your eternal life. You want to challenge the Almighty. So you'll take all these players with you, and you go to the gate, and you go through Inferno, Purgatorio, and then Paradiso, while facing tons of like monsters and epic bosses. And then after that, you will go through these things, but you may also die. Dying is part of the process. And, well, as bad as it sounds.
Of course, but I got you.
And we want to make sure that every time you'll play, you'll get some new potential upgrades. We have like a perk system that you'll be able to equip that will affect your weapons, your stats, and you'll get more and more experience the more you play, the more you'll be accustomed to the game, and then you'll play through more and more, and the more you'll go, the more you'll be able to like go through all these challenges that are just ramping difficulty through the whole game with all these 3 steps.
That sounds so amazing. But Nicolas, can you tell us a bit more where the name comes from?
Yes. In fact, to do 3 more lows, we at the beginning of the game, the development started in 2018. Okay. And we are a small studio, and we decided to have a brand new team that will take care of this game because it's an online game. It's something different that we did before. So it started with 3 people, and now we're 22, which is pretty nice. And at the beginning, we wanted to have, we wanted to have 100 players. We were a bit dreaming.
Of course.
Which
you
is
have
good.
to dream big, right? And then you condense it to something more manageable.
Exactly. It's exactly this, through brainstorms and realizing what we need to make sure that the raid experience is nice and enjoyable. And also by discovering that in the Divine Comedy, every chapter has 33 chants. Chants, C-H-A-A-N-T-S. Then we realized that, maybe 33 is the magic number. And it was the perfect number of players, and then it created the 33 Immortals title.
That is such a cool story. Thank you for sharing it. And can you tell us a bit more about the art style? Because it's not only fun to play, I bet. It also looks amazing.
Yes. So, in fact, at Under Lotus, we are renowned, I think. I'll say renowned to do beautiful and crafted game in 2D art style, which is for animation and all the scenery everywhere. It's beautiful, and it's a challenge because on our end, and as you see on some of the gameplay, It's a top-down view, so it's a different view that we haven't tackled before. And the fact of keeping this aesthetic that is very hand-drawn with the challenge of having this crisp gameplay and good gameplay experience, it's a challenge, but we did it, and we're very proud of what we have right now.
And you've been working on it since 2018. That's
It's a lot.
very, very long time.
It's good that we'll be launching soon.
How many times have you changed directions?
Not so much. In fact, it was more a matter of having not so much people, and then it takes time because you're not a big team. And the team got bigger. It's nice. Now we're 22. We're super happy. But when you are a few people, it takes time before it just develops. And yes, there was some changes here and there, but it's just normal through like game development, and we're pretty happy of where we are right now currently.
That sounds so amazing. So Nicolas, finally, when can the community get their hands on the game? So when can we start playing?
Yes, so we're an online game, so we'll need help and feedback of player before our launching date. So early next year, we will clearly have some moments where we'll need players to come in. And players, please all come in, go subscribe on 33immortals.com, and you can join our Discord as well to join the community. And it's going to be great. We need people, we need feedback. We want to do the game for the community as well and for the people, and it's going to be good for us to just make sure that we balance everything out properly. Early next year, it's going to be great, and then we'll ship later next year as well.
That sounds so amazing. Nicolas, thank you so much for being here and for sharing all the information about 33 Immortals, and I really can't wait to start playing myself.
Subscribe.
Honestly. I will. I was just taking notes, and you will see me on the Discord, trust me.
Excellent.
So, we've got more in store today, including a chat with Phil Spencer, new updates from Microsoft Flight Sim, and a world premiere you've just got to see. But first, here's Benny with a quick look at the Xbox booth tour we've got coming up tomorrow.
Welcome to the world's largest Xbox playground. At more than 45,000 square feet, this booth is not only 4 times the size of what we brought last year, but it's also the ultimate Xbox Gamescom fan experience. We've got a lot more in store tomorrow with a full booth tour, but here's a taste of the booth experiences you just can't miss. The first thing everyone will see is the huge Starfield experience towering over the booth. This is a 300-person theater where fans will be able to experience the opening of the game for the first time ever. Forza Motorsport has the best parking spot in the booth, and fans will be able to see super fast German sedans race around Spa in a Builders Cup career demo. We're also celebrating Porsche's 75th anniversary with a beautiful Taycan and 6 custom Xbox Series X consoles. We just shadow dropped it at One Night Live last night, but fans here don't need to miss out. We're giving them a chance to play Age of Empires 4 on console with a controller. Then there's the chance to play the new medieval fantasy masterpiece, Towerborn. Looking for a new and unique title, the Idea Xbox experience should be your next stop. Plus, we're celebrating ID's 10-year anniversary. Then it's Cyberpunk 2077's turn to WoW, with game stations featuring the new expansion, Phantom Liberty. Now here is a selfie that I thought I'd never take. Leave it to the Elder Scrolls Online to shake me to my very core. And right over here is where you can get ready for takeoff with Microsoft Flight Sim. Plus, fans of the Zone can finally get their hands on Stalker 2. Want more booth action? Stay tuned tomorrow when we walk the floor.
Our trail had led us from the Yorkshire moors to Berlin, Paris, and now the tiny village of Montségur, high up in the mountains of the Pyrenees. So here I was, remembering a murderous clown, a deadly explosion, and a day that changed my life forever. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. Sounds like we're in danger.
We are.
Well, let's get a drink and you can bring me up to speed.
I do believe it's your round.
Sure. Un vin blanc, coming up. And if you see a clown,
Stop wasting your time with crypto and gambling. It's 2023, not 2030. Tired of constant hold and cancel please? Don't want to be banned every other campaign? Here is some magic for you and Buzz. Get daily payments and thousands of conversions all over the world right away without any holds. Sounds like a dream come true? Register on Golden Goose, discover a new channel of your profit.
Good afternoon and thank you for flying with us. On your left of the screen, you'll see my lovely guest, York. Hi, York. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great, Bex.
Good. And on your right, you'll see our giveaway that is now live in the Twitch chat. Now, York, it is great to have you back at Gamescom this year with Flight Simulator. You guys have really been soaring to new heights recently. Can you tell us what you've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, so it's great to be here at Gamescom. Bex, pleasure to meet you. We've been on quite a journey over the last few years with Flight Sim. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary, and we couldn't be happier. Both the core Simmer audience really have embraced the Sim as the home of their hobby. And then we found a whole bunch of new people that have never tried Flight Sim before, and they're happy and interested. So it's awesome. We've already announced we have over 12 million unique users. But some of the stats are just incredible. Like there have been over 700 million flights taken, 77 billion miles flown. So that sounds abstract, right? So it's 2 million times around the equator. Or if you want to go galactic, you can say it's 120 times from here to Neptune.
Wow.
Oh, it's incredible, yeah.
That's a lot of flying. I mean, I'm one of those new players as well that hadn't played it before, and now I'm obsessed with Flight Simulator as well. And we're back at Gamescom. Last year, you guys really put on a show with an amazing recreation of Cologne, as well as flying helicopters up the Rhine to the Messe where we are here. What can we look forward to this year at Gamescom?
Yeah, we love Gamescom. I mean, the vibe of the show, everything here is super cool, and it's so much fun for us to figure out what would make people happy, you know, here in this region, beautiful region of the Earth. So this year we did, plus I'm German, you know, I don't know. But this year we did 2 things. We did, and I've done little videos for you. So the first one is what we call City Update. We call this one City Update Western Europe. So instead of doing another German city, we said, why don't we take the countries around Europe? So we have a little trailer for you. So
yeah, let's take a look then. Jorg, that was so pretty. I'm always blown away with Microsoft Flight Simulator's ability to recreate the world so accurately as well. But you mentioned 2 videos for us. What else can we have a look at?
yeah, the second one is it's near and dear to my heart. So there's a long history of aviation in Germany. It goes way back to the Zeppelins and stuff. And we've explored some of this in Flight Sim already with the Junkers F-13, which was the first metal passenger plane. The Doge, that was the first one that crossed the South Atlantic. Then the Junkers U-52. But when you grow up in Germany like I did, there's one plane that stands above them all. It's a real, pinnacle of German aviation, and it's called the DoX from Dornier. We have a trailer.
Let's look at the trailer then, the DoX.
Listen, there's a good chance somebody's trying to hack your website right now. You gotta make sure you're covered. I'm talking about enterprise-grade security built into your site and fully managed for you. Check this out. First up, prevention. The Wix platform is secure by design. Security experts are in the dev process, performing threat modeling, penetration tests, and designing code reviews. And you get a strong encryption for your data in transit and data at rest. E-com sites? Wix is compliant with the highest level of PCI DSS. And it doesn't stop there. The top international privacy and security regulations, they're all
my goodness, I can't believe they could fly something like that. I mean, those wallpapers alone are fantastic. The city update and the Dornier, it looks so cool, especially the airport that a lot of us flew into here at Cologne Airport. It looks so cool. You must be so proud of it. When can fans get their hands on it? When's it's releasing?
So for the airport was for the people of Cologne. We made the Cologne Airport. Here we go. Enjoy. So just about the DoX a little bit more. So it was designed by famous aircraft designer Claude Dornier. And it was, actually the idea was to compete with the big ocean liners of the time. Think Titanic and, the ones that made it. So they built 3 of them. And what was interesting is it was only 3 because it was commercially not successful, but they took a famous flight, you saw it in the trailer, from Germany to South America to New York. And there was like all these awesome pictures of it at the Statue of Liberty and all that stuff. But all those planes were lost. And I really wanted to make this as a local legend. And I'd almost given up. I spent 2 years researching this, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't find anything. And then I was happily finding this individual, Peter Kielhorn, and he is the initiator of the DoX rebuild project. And he's also the president of the DoX Foundation. And they are trying to rebuild the DoX to scale, in real life, in Hildesheim by the 100th anniversary. So in 2029 it's supposed to be done. And they gave us all the plans and everything. Because typically we have museums and we can visit those plans. Here was nothing. And just because of these people, I just want to say a big shout out. That is how we could actually create this plane and preserve it. Because we have this idea of digital preservation in flight sim, where planes of the past that are oftentimes lost can be enjoyed by generations of the future. So we did that. So happy with it.
Jörg, that's such a beautiful story, honestly. It's so present, the passion and attention to detail that you and the team have in Flight Simulator. It's such a vibrant game from the last few years, but I'm curious what you think makes it so special.
I mean, there's a flight sim community, and they make us special. So there's literally hundreds of thousands or millions of people. Their number one hobby in life is aviation. They know everything about planes, and they push us all the time. They want all kinds of details, and they keep saying we need to add this and this and this and this. That has been pushing us forward a lot, and it's super fun, actually. And then there's a creator community, is also interesting, because we have an SDK. So there's about 2,000 companies and individuals. They make airplanes, airports, all kinds of cool add-ons. And it's a vibrant marketplace. We have a marketplace in the sim that has over 2,500 add-ons. And that alone, that is keeping us fresh. Every morning when I get up, I go on the computer and say, what did they do? And it's always like, it's like opening chocolate. It's awesome.
That's so, so lovely to hear. I mean, speaking about the future and what's coming as well, there is a new flight simulator that we can look forward to next year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Flight Sim 2024. It is by far the biggest undertaking ever in simulation. The team is almost 500 people now. We've been working hard. We're adding realistic aviation activities. So it's not just you, the plane, and the planet. It's what planes actually do in real life. So it's if you're interested in aviation at all, this is the one. And I think we're going to have it here next year at Gamescom. I'm really looking forward to showing it.
Well, I can't wait to see it as well. Jörg, congratulations to you and the team again, and the community as well. Thank you so much for chatting with us here at Gamescom today. And from one fan favorite to another, we're going to catch up with the team behind Age of Empires Anniversary Edition to find out what it takes to make such an iconic PC title work on consoles. Let's go.
Welcome to World's Edge, home to the beloved Age of Empires franchise. We've been on a journey to continue the legacy of creating world-class real-time strategy games that started over 25 years ago.
That legacy is all thanks to you, the fans.
You inspire us to develop new ideas and evolve our games.
In 2021, we partnered with the award-winning studio Relic Entertainment to push the franchise into a new era with our latest title, Age of Empires 4.
It was a global event that heralded a new chapter of storytelling and strategy.
Age of Empires 4 humanizes the compelling stories from that historical time and presents a new perspective through engaging gameplay.
It challenges you to make history your story.
And what better way to do that than with a trebuchet?
Did you hear that whoosh? In the first year of Age of Empires 4, we added new civilizations, new seasons, and features that fans were very excited about.
But there was always something else that fans wanted.
We kept hearing the same thing over and over.
When are you bringing it to Xbox?
We're so excited that finally all the content in Age of Empires 4 is now available on the Xbox console.
But figuring out how to make it for a console audience was easier said than done.
It was impossible to go to any social media platform where the Age of Empires account was posting, where there was not a comment underneath saying, when is it coming to Xbox?
We knew that it was important, especially from the perspective of being able to bring RTS and Age to as many people as possible.
We'd been talking about it for a long, long time, but it had always come back down to that key factor of getting RTS from PC and mouse onto a controller. You get the defensive stance like, you can't do this. Like, well, why do you feel that way? Well, I'm gonna have to like move a fake mouse around. Okay, we're not doing that. A controller is a drive mechanism. You're driving a character, you're driving a viewpoint. You are driving something through an environment. How do we make that work? How do we find a solution? We have these ideas, but we can't build the game internally. We're only like, we're not a huge RTS studio, but we would love to go look for partners. And the first team on our list that we want to talk to was Relic about doing Age 4.
We're bringing positive change to cybersecurity.
We believe in problem solving through collaboration.
And growing and evolving to stay ahead of cyber threats.
We've got a best-in-class portfolio of integrated and scalable solutions.
Along with a deep bench of leading experts who believe that nothing is unsolvable.
We get that cybersecurity is a journey, not a destination.
And there's a difference between thinking you're protected and knowing you're protected.
We're the relentless ally that covers that difference.
Providing organizations with transformational solutions.
And most importantly, peace of mind.
We're tenacious in our pursuit of a better future for cybersecurity.
Who are we? Fortra.
This game, you're not ready for it.
You're in the middle of this beautiful sci-fi environment, and you're seeing intrigue, the espionage, the alliances form, the power that just shifts around, and it's amazing to watch.
This is primary, Julia secondary. Simple actions can have massive effects.
You can cooperate with people, compete with them, make friendships, deceive them, betray them.
It's amazing to think that it's all just other players.
More players start coming. It just starts this complete cascade of actions, and you don't know what's going to happen.
It is a free-for-all. We'll get locked up and shot instantly. People start dying left, right, and center. It's just something that you can't get anywhere else. It's just the rush like no other.
All good moves. Everybody's on this journey and writing their own stories, and that is probably the simplest way I can describe Eve.
Things continue to change and evolve. It's awesome. I love it. Part of Eve.
Relic has been making RTS games for 25 years, and Age of Empires has always been a reference point.
It's truly a global effort between so many different teams: Climax, Forgotten Empires, Relic, and the World's Edge.
World's Edge brought in Climax Studios in the UK, who had a background in console games.
Climax Studios is a real powerhouse when it comes to user interface elements.
And we felt that they could bring a unique perspective to building out the control scheme.
There was a port once upon a time. In 2001, I played it and I hated it. I hated everything about it. So we have a history, even within our franchise, of how not to do a port.
If we were forced to port it, we probably never would have done it.
Our challenge was we're bringing in Age 4, which has some extra complexities over Age 2. How are we going to make that work? What we found is we could actually use that framework to bring the game into its own.
This game is basically a redesign from the ground up.
Age of Empires 4 is a different engine. It wasn't just a case of doing what Age 2 did. We had to build it all from the ground up.
You have players sitting in the living room away from the TV. We have to reconsider all the UI menus and all the in-game HUDs to make sure they're as legible, as high contrast as possible.
The whole development team knew that micromanaging individual villagers was going to be difficult on console.
We have introduced a lot of automation systems.
All of us as game designers and game creators are always seeking that next thing. Like, how do we evolve the experience? How do we move it forward, right?
There are two that really stand out. First one is called the Villager Priority System.
The Villager Priority System is something we came up with in Age 2 because we were after that idea of like, okay, how do we stop the console player from having to do this insane amount of micromanagement of their villagers? Based on a pie chart, you can say like, hey, 50% of my people are gonna go work on wood, and 25% are gonna go work on food, and the rest are gonna go work on gold. And they'll just start working on them. Now, if you want to change that, we've added all these cool settings for mid-game, early game, wood rush.
That were designed by our pro players. So these presets are not just something that were slapped together.
Or you can turn it off and do everything manually. It's up to you.
We also have the site menu system
that allows you to quickly issue a command contextually on the ground.
It's context sensitive, so it'll bring up the right structure that you can build at that spot. In Age, you were always relegated to having to select a villager, bring up the build menu, click the item that you want, and then drop that build foundation on the battlefield. Now with the SMS, you don't have to do that anymore. You can literally pan the camera over to a spot, bring up your production radial, drop a build foundation there, and a villager will automatically be selected to start the build process on that particular foundation.
The kind of magic to the radio menu is that it allows you to do many things at the same time. With the console version of Age of Empires 4, we also added a new Find Menu feature. This is a unique radio menu that allows you to quickly find and locate units or buildings or a collection of buildings in the midst of battle.
Those were the primary things that the minute we had them working, we're like, those are in the Age 4 console.
And we often joke between the designers that some of us even prefer to play on the controller now because it is so good.
This was something bigger than a port. This was something that we had to approach the way that one would approach starting out a project from scratch.
Age of Empires 4 on controller is a new experience. Because of that, we knew we needed to design a new entry point.
When we're making tutorials, one of the things that we always try to do is figure out a way to make them not now do this, now click on this. Like, how do we build it into the experience?
He first needed to get a lay of the land.
The Rise of King tutorial is a completely new story within Age of Empires 4.
For a whole new audience, we wanted to bring them through an experience that was a great storytelling experience.
A collection of large rocks caught Guillaume's eye. Wary of hidden threats, he decided to investigate.
But also introduced mechanics to them in a progressive way in which they could learn from it.
We definitely ran into things where we realized that some of the ways that we were building graphics and units were not as optimized as they need to be for something like a console to run really smoothly. But there were things there that actually ended up improving the PC game as well.
I really hope that when we bring all these new console players into Age of Empires 4 for the very first time, that they get to share that enjoyment and everything that we love about the game with their friends and their families, much like I did with my dad when I was growing up. Well, that community is so special to me. I met my wife playing Age of Empires, and maybe when we have children, they'll play Age of Empires too.
So my favorite thing about Age of Empires is the diverse civilizations that are represented. Even the language is representative of the civilizations for that time period. That dialogue grows or changes as the civilization ages up and the time periods change. I've worked in the RTS genre for over 29 years. I'm very genuine in saying that I actually prefer to play RTS games now with the controller.
You get all of the campaigns, all of our civilizations.
And most importantly, mods. Mods will be supported at launch day.
Age of Empires 4 is available now on Xbox consoles and cloud.
We took great care and attention to bring this game to console players, and we hope you're as excited to play it as we are to share it with you.
There's never been a better time to pick up a controller and start making history.
We'll see you on the battlefield.
Just because your business gets complex doesn't mean it has to get complicated. With Asana, adapt to new business needs. Automate workflows, connect global teams, gain real insights so your team can light up the world. Try Asana.
Well, we just saw how it was made. I think maybe now it's time to play it for real on console, finally. But first, I'm going to ask you to head to Twitch chat for your chance to win a month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So now, please everyone join me in welcoming Chris Rubio to the Xbox stage. Chris, how are you doing today?
I am doing awesome.
It's been a pretty good 24 hours, right? We had Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition Shadow drop yesterday onto Game Pass from Opening Night Live. I know it's been a short amount of time, but what has the reaction been like so far?
It's been just overwhelmingly positive.
I like that answer. That's what I was hoping you'd say.
We met with, I've met with a lot of players that have come to our booth. They're like, wow, thank you for bringing it to console. We've been waiting a long time for this. Yep. People that have played it tell us, wow, that it's amazing how you even got it to work.
Mm-hmm.
What was the mad science behind that?
What were you doing?
A lot of magic and a lot of goodness went into it, but it's been a very, very awesome. The shadow drop was
yeah, we
great.
do love a shadow drop, don't we? Well, we're going to be digging into all of that, but you are here to showcase everything what the team of World's Edge have been working on, and we're going to be doing a live gameplay segment for you all. So we're going to go through Skirmish, and before I do any of the nerdy questions in my head about how you've done it, I'm going to ask you some nerdy questions about what we're going to be looking at here. So what have you got set up for us?
So today we'll be diving into Skirmish, but I want to walk players through a lot of the changes that we made.
Yeah,
You've heard us. If you watch the documentary, we literally rebuilt the front end and a lot of all of the tactical UI. We built it from the ground up, redesigned it so it would work incredibly well on the console. And so I would love to show that off to players and,
Oh,
and
the
everything that
floor
we've
is
done.
all yours, my darling.
Sweetness. So let's jump in. So this is for the Xbox, we created a brand new front end. And by the way, I love that I'm all the way back here, like 8 feet. Incredibly readable. So this is awesome. Very easy to navigate through our various menus that we created. Just you can RB through everything. And again, it's still kind of it has a lot of the colors and flares that our PC version did.
Yeah.
But again, redesigned so that you can couch play from almost 8 feet away, which is awesome.
Let's just pause for a moment. At no point on this screen does it say Age of Empires, but I know what I'm looking at.
Yes.
And you've got an Xbox and controller in your hand.
Yes.
So there you go.
It's awesome.
Job done.
So, we're going to go into single player today, and we're going to set up a skirmish. But I've already set up a skirmish.
No,
awesome.
this is one I made earlier.
This is one I made earlier so that we can jump in, and more importantly, it'll enable me to talk about all the cool stuff that we've done.
Nice.
And hopefully not get destroyed by the AI. So,
well, also I'm going to make sure you aren't distracted and you do talk to me during
Yes, that's right.
Because I've heard that you go into focus mode somewhat.
I go into combat mode. So
which I love, because I'm not a combat girly. I like to build my civilizations. I like to make them look very beautiful, and then at the end I'm like, I suppose I need to go bash someone up now.
I do that too. I'm actually quite the builder, and then I get a lot of better players than me that come over and stomp my base. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have been focused on making a cool base.
It's all about turtling the wonder in the base for me. That's how I go for it.
So it's awesome. So we're going to be playing today. We got the English versus the French.
Yep.
Very tried and true classic matchup.
Indeed.
We're going to start with our base kind of already pre-made. And if players out there haven't checked it out, we've released Empire Wars, which is a kind of a really cool fast start in the game. And Age of Empires 4 is a little bit different than Age of Empires 2. The civs are slightly more asymmetric. So Empires Wars was designed, each civilization starts and was handcrafted to start at the right start that you would expect them to be at that point in time. So a lot of passion and love went into making that mode super awesome. So what we see here is basically the base that I've set up. I got a bunch of workers right here in idle, but more importantly, it's like, well, what's all that UI on the screen?
Because that is the first thing, especially so you go from PC gameplay, and if you've never played it on console, Age 2 came out early this year. If you've not had a chance to play that yourself, it even looks different to that one as well as soon as you load in somewhat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've went in, we've made a lot of modifications, and our goal is to literally streamline the interface, but at the same time make it incredibly accessible and easy to read for couch play.
Yes,
so
definitely.
one of the first things any PC player would notice is like, oh my gosh, the resource bar is in the top center of the screen. It's on the PC, it's in the lower left.
Yep.
And we found on the console,
Thank you for the ad.
we found on the console that that placement is really nice, makes it super easy to read, and we got a lot of learnings actually came from Age of Empires 2. Kudos to that team for an awesome job that they did. So we were able to tap into a lot of that and literally kind of define out. So as I go through the screen in a clockwise motion, we have our resource bar at the top.
Yep.
We have kind of our tribute menu that you can access, with various commands. You'll also see a bunch of little helper widgets, and those were purposely done so there's, it's not mouse and keyboard. It is, you need to, as a new player, it's very helpful to understand which inputs you got to press to access various bits of functionality. The lower right-hand corner, that's kind of your tried and true mini-map.
Indeed, yeah.
You can expand your mini-map, which is a really cool bit of functionality. You can hold down the Y button. You can actually super fast scroll.
It's seamless.
Yep. You can drop camera markers, which I'm going to do here. One more, and then that's a terrible spot for a marker, but I'll drop one right there for the purpose of demo. And then what you can do too on the mini-map is you can just literally just jump around based on those waypoints that you set. So entirely up to the player, however they want to play. And the toolbar, or I should say the D-pad controls that you see in the center of this bottom center there, those are what we call a quick find menu, and it allows players kind of like hotkey shortcuts on the PC.
Sure.
It allows you to jump to various units, structures that you have on the battlefield. For example, if I press D-pad up, I can cycle through all my idle villagers very quickly.
There they are.
If I want to go to my military, I can press D-pad left, boom, I'm right there with a group of units, and I can kind of cycle through them. Now, if I want, I can actually select all my idle villagers just by holding D-pad up.
Right. You've thought this through, haven't you?
It makes it super, super simple.
In fact, if we can for a moment, I just want to pause the game. We're going to cut away from the gameplay very quickly. Chat's probably going to know why. And I want to ask you a little bit about what work you've done in the background to try and get it to like the testing phase. And we even heard in that Vidoc just then that I think it's yourself or maybe a lot of other people are really, really excited about playing on controller now.
Yeah, so we have, we've spent, I should say, both teams, Age of Empires 2 and 4, we spent many, many months and thousands of hours basically hammering away. We methodically went through the keyboard and mouse inputs and essentially broke them down, figured out how all of that would map and translate to the controller. And then once we got it all done on paper, after many months, we started prototyping, we started iterating, we started playing what worked, what didn't work, started throwing things out, bringing stuff back. So it was just a constant phase of development where we were just trying and experimenting until we landed on what you see here today. And we're really happy. The team, kudos to all the teams, our partner teams that worked on this. We have something that is truly amazing, and honestly, I've said this before. If you watch the videos, as an RTS player, I should say, as an RTS developer that's worked in the genre for about 29 years now, I actually prefer to play with the controller.
Well, let's get back in the hot seat then. Do some movements for us. I want to see. Do the thing again where you select all the villagers.
So I press up on the D-pad.
Go on. Oh, there we go.
Which is super awesome. If you think about it, it's like
so good.
And that's what I love about the controllers. Everything on the D-pad is at your fingertips. It's you no longer have two input devices. Everything's been focused down to one. And we've gone in, we've intelligently designed the controller in such a way that it just makes everything feel really intuitive, natural. And why I say that is because that carries through across both products, Age 2 and Age 4. So if you're an Age 2 player and you're like, I'm going to go download Age 4 right now.
Which you should, if you haven't, by the way.
Absolutely. You're going to be able to pick up the controller and start playing right away, and it's going to feel, you're going to feel right at home. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can play this without having to relearn it. No, that was intentionally done because this blueprint that we have was designed so not only in the present is it awesome, but we can also carry it forward into the future with other iterations. So I got am I getting attacked by the AI? Look at that, I'm talking.
Here we are chatting and you're under fire.
Yeah, so what I want to show off are a couple cool innovations. These are absolutely critical to players out there. The first one is called the Villager Priority System, and this is key. I love this system with a passion, and I got to say, this is actually a new innovative feature for the genre as a whole. I was saying to our creative director, I'm like, how did we not think of this 10 years ago? and we laugh about it. But that's how cool of a feature it really is. So how it works is you essentially bring up this really cool radial. You hold down the left trigger, press an RS, and it brings up this radial. And this radial has a bunch of different presets that are broken up into various kind of like pie chart-like fashions. These are all weighted based on resource type. So
instead of dragging and dropping individual folks as they come out of the village, it's just already managed.
This is where it gets really good. I got it all set up. So oh my God, that's amazing. So we're gonna focus in on this economic one. But if you can use these presets. They were designed by our pro players on our team. We have some basic ones that if you're like me, you can just kind of set it and go. But depending on phase of gameplay, you can actually shift in and out of presets based on if I need more gold, need more stone.
Well, that's end game is when you need more gold. You don't really need it at the start,
And you can pivot your villagers accordingly, and this governance system will take care of all that for you. Now, of course, if you're super pro, you can go in.
Which we are. We are.
You can go in and customize your own VPS settings.
Okay.
So you have a custom setting for the pro players, or your average, individuals like myself, or your presets, which are more geared towards me. And let me show everybody how this works, because this is awesome. So I'm going to select the economic preset down here, very basic, straightforward. Click a button, and you watch all those idle villagers.
Off they go.
They're put to work. And let me show you an amazing pairing. So you take the Villager Priority System and you combine it with a new feature that we added to Age of Empires 4 on the Xbox, which is auto-train villagers on your TC. So now you get auto-train villagers going, and essentially you'll be booming in no time.
Just showing off now.
And it's awesome. So these features, made perfect sense to pair these two. And anybody out there, try it out. You're gonna love it. Once you can't go back. I was playing the PC the other day, and we're working on PC, iterating and changing things. I'm like, I had so much wood. I'm like, why are my villagers collecting wood? I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot. I'm on the PC, not the console. And you got to manually go in. But people, players love that level of micro. So we want to make sure that we give player the agency to do either or. This system really helps bolster the console experience. So, and that's why we added it. And Age of Empires 2 was the first one to add it. We brought the system in. We've made some additional tunings to it to make it work even better. And over time, you're just going to get see the system in the Age series just grow and grow and just become super awesome.
Absolutely love it.
I got one more. Do we have time?
Oh, of course we've got time. All the time in the world.
So another feature that we added to Age of Empires Xbox was the ability to build anywhere you want without having to select a villager. This is key. So normally in the past, you had to select a villager and bring up the command bar. On the PC, it's in the bottom.
Yep.
I didn't show this earlier. Gosh darn it. And here, this is the build radial. So let me talk about it now. This is the build radial. And on the console, we've broken up the build features across 4 different categories. You have economy, defense, military, and age up. So, and I'll back out of that, bring it back up again. And all of this is easily accessible through the D-pad. Purposely designed so players eventually can map all this in their brains to, I'll just go to economy and eventually get it. So very well done. So with the site menu system, no longer do you have to select a villager. You can simply say, cursor over this resource pile, hit the right trigger, and it's going to bring up the right structure that you can place at that particular pile.
And then the way that you've weighted the villagers to work, people will go build it, and then they'll go mine it.
One villager will automatically be assigned, and it'll start building. And the great thing is, once this villager is done, the VPS system will capture that villager and put it back to work.
Oh, my days.
So it's super awesome. And of course, that's with resource piles, so it's context sensitive on demand. You can also cursor over the terrain, bring up the menu, go to your build system, and it brings up the villager radio. And at that point, say I want to build more military structures, simply select the military structure, build one, and it's going to select the nearby villager, and off you go. So again, some really awesome niceties that we added to the game to just further bolster the console experience and reduce APM on the player.
So good. Now, there might be some people in chat who saw the news yesterday as well, who might be brand new to this whole experience. And there is a tutorial that's been added called Rise of the King. I wonder if we could just touch on that very quickly.
Absolutely. So the Rise of the King tutorial was created for the Xbox experience. It's broken up across 5 different missions, and it was designed to teach players the basics, the core, your core inputs, your basic age concepts, as well as teach players the fundamentals like base building, resource management, and of course the biggie, combat. So it takes players through all of these different phases of gameplay across 5 missions. Now, we didn't want to just build an onboarding experience that was do this, do that. We wanted something that was narratively driven and tied into the historical component that we created for Age of Empires 4. So we decided to create a prelude to the main campaign of the game, which follows William the Conqueror starting in 1047, and it takes you all the way up to 1066 with a landing in England up to the Battle of Hastings.
There it is.
So when you move into the main campaign, you'll actually start off right where you left off in the tutorial.
Oh, you lot are well smart. Well done. So the Xbox mantra that we all know and love is very much play how you want, when you want, and wherever you want. And that's very important because now we've enabled 2 and 4 of the Age franchise
this is going to be pretty
on Xbox
awesome.
consoles. How does it
starts
feel to
off
be
where
continuing
you
to support
started
that mantra?
It's
in
awesome.
the
It's an opportunity for us to get
so
Age
that's going to be another awesome little feature too.
Around the world,
You know what I mean?
That may never have the opportunity
So
to
it's definitely
experience
going to
this game.
come
Always
into
wanted to
effect
experience this game, but
with
for whatever reason,
everything,
we
and
couldn't. So now, through Game Pass,
it's going to work out
and
as
Xbox,
well,
can go
you know.
online, they can download it and have a great experience. And so for us, it's it's an opportunity, a chance for players to play on the platform they want and play comfortably on the input device that they want.
And comfortably on the sofa as
On
well.
the sofa, which, by the way,
sofa.
is super awesome.
It's pretty good. Chat, by the way, I want to know, hands up in chat, if you have got it installed, because I want to see everyone just get very, very excited. It has been a little bit of time since it's been announced, so fingers crossed you have. But before we go, I must ask, because I'm also very excited. I hear you've got a big announcement for us, something you want to share, maybe?
I am thrilled.
Thrilled
and have the privilege of being able to announce to everyone around the world that the biggest expansion released for Age of Empires 4 is coming soon. It's called The Sultan's Ascend. It's packed with a ton of content, and it's going to take players on an epic journey through the Middle East. Now, I can say stay tuned. That's all I can say at this time.
Sorry, chap.
We're going to release more information very shortly, as well as details on how you can go onto your favorite platform and wish list this baby up. So
fantastic.
Super excited, and please, you know, that's good. The expansion's awesome.
I cannot wait to see more. Cannot wait to hear more. Chris, I also want to know when you go home and continue the skirmish, I want to hear how the fight goes.
Oh,
you do it, all right?
Probably going to go terribly.
Nah, I believe in you. I believe in you. Well, thanks again for joining us. And chat, please do not forget, you can play Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition on Xbox right now. You didn't think I'd be saying that a few days ago with Xbox Game Pass, as well as PC Game Pass if you haven't tried it out yet. Coming up next, I'm going to be chatting with the big man himself, Phil Spencer, so get mega excited. But first, it made a splash on Opening Night Live, so let's check it out right now. This is the latest from Starfield.
Modus makes it simple for employers to create and administer BYO reimbursement programs that delight their workers. Options are available for any combination of smartphones, tablets, broadband internet, and home office reimbursements. Different job roles have different business use demands, so we made it easy to set up multiple program profiles. By using a comprehensive data-driven approach to costs, including insurance, local taxes and fees, and device depreciation, Modus ensures employers have confidence in these reimbursement amounts. The dashboard is used to monitor policy compliance, reimbursement history, and more. Need a more detailed view? Export reimbursement history for program groups and individual users. Modus has solutions where everyone wins. Are you ready? Learn more about Modus BYO today.
Battleship sunk. Enemy battleship detected. Enemy submarine spotted. Attention. Reporting the target position. Enemy heavily damaged. Battleship foundered.
I need intelligence data. Engine boost activated. Destroyer detected. Problem solved, sir.
Ship sunk. All stations, reporting the position of a strategic target. Requesting support. I owe you one. Enemy destroyer blown up. Engine boost deactivated. Play it day one with Xbox Game Pass.
How are you? It's good to be here.
So good.
How's your first day of Gamescom?
I mean, it's been exciting. I've had a walk around. I've looked at some things, but I've mostly just been sitting here talking Diablo and Age, and now to you. So it's like
I saw the Age demo.
It's kind of like a 10 out of 10.
Who was out here for Diablo?
Diablo, it was Rod and Chris.
Roderick was here.
Roderick indeed.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good vibes. I want to start by saying that the last time we were together, we were sat in the Bethesda London office planning to steal loads of stuff because we're loads of cool
Are we
stuff
saying
behind
planning
us.
because we don't want people to know that we
yes,
did?
Exactly. Well, you've said it now, so I was protecting us.
I still have my stuff.
Well, every time I talk to you, I always ask what you're playing. So I want to know what you're playing and why is it still Vampire Survivors?
No. Well, I am playing Vampire Survivors, so I got all the achievements.
Obviously, yeah.
But now they have couch co-op, and I'm playing with my wife. My wife, Kelly, who doesn't play a ton of video games.
Yep.
So the fact that we can play couch co-op and she's enjoying it, like I'm all in.
As well.
So what I'm playing right now on console, I'm playing a lot of Remnant 2. I really like Remnant 2.
Yeah.
It's a great game to play with friends. I had my ROG Ally on the way out here. I'm playing a game called Fist, which is in Game Pass.
Yep.
It's a really nice platformer. I'm playing Brotato. Have you played Brotato?
This is also the first I've heard of it, so please tell me more. What is that?
So Brotato's not on Xbox.
Okay.
I'll say yet, but I don't have any. Well, it would be great to get on Xbox. It's a Steam game. It's kind of like, let's say it's inspired by Vampire Survivors.
Oh, I see.
But you play as a potato.
You have a type.
Yes, yeah, I'm very simple.
Yeah.
I have a small brain. So one stick, move around. But it's a fun game. So I'm playing some Brotato. I just finished, what did I just finish last? Bramble, have you played this game?
No, I've had it recommended a bunch though. Yeah, it's because it's a nice short playthrough, isn't it? As well?
But it's kind of a demented game. Like
A
it starts off
game.
demented, yeah. It starts off very cute,
Yeah.
and you think, oh, like this is awesome, and then it like goes into some very crazy,
And it
great game,
zags.
great game, but it's like some very dark, let's just say dark places.
I'll get it on the download queue. That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's
Wonderful.
good.
So we're going to focus on Gamescom now. We're going to stop flapping our gums and actually talk. We're in Gamescom, quite literally surrounded by Xbox fans.
50,000 square feet of Xbox booth.
It's pretty good. And
Biggest ever.
This is the first time in a while you've stepped on it as well. So I want to know why it's so important that Xbox has showed up so big this year.
Well, being here, being anywhere, but being in Europe with our customers, with players, with the creators that are here. I did a creator get together both last night, today, met with some partners. It's, it's these moments where the industry comes together, where we can talk to each other, that the consumers can come in, the players can come in, put their hands on games. I just think it's critically important. Obviously, COVID messed up a bunch of things. That's in the rearview mirror. So when you had the opportunity this year to go big at Gamescom, we said, let's go. The other thing that's awesome in the booth is how much third-party support that's here, right? Like Ed Boon's games here, Mortal Kombat's here. We have the DLC for Cyberpunk's here. Like it's just awesome to see how many of our partners, Rod's games here, Diablo, how many of the third-party support on the floor. It's an important thing for us as a platform. And it's just nice to get reconnected back with the community here.
Yeah. And then Starfield over, I feel like I'm showing everyone over
I can't
here.
see it. I can't see it. It's too small.
Well, it is actually technically massive, to correct you there. And we're only a week away from early access. So how exciting is it seeing this game coming to Xbox and we're so close now?
Yeah, we've been working on it for a long time. I've known about it for even before we acquired ZeniMax. So it's been great to see Todd and the team work more closely with them than we ever have on any game. There aren't that many moments where we get to launch a new IP that has the amount of buzz and anticipation that Starfield does. A lot of games you'll launch that are new IP and then maybe they build into their strength, but like there is just a crazy amount of anticipation. And the thing that I love is the confidence that the team has right now, like putting out review codes 2 weeks before launch, because it's a big game. And I'll be the first to admit, the first 3 to 4 hours are a little bit hunt and peck, figure out like, well, what am I actually doing? Then you get on a side quest or something and like the game just like blows up in terms of its epic scale. So I love the fact that the team is so confident in giving reviewers time with the game before they're actually reviewing or just talking about what they think of the game.
Yeah, and just behind that, in the rearview mirror, if you will, kind of, I think that's how it works. Forza Motorsport's over there, and that's out not too long after Starfield, is it? That's
right. That's October. We did a take home 2 weeks ago where we got the kind of the opening of the game. Looks fantastic. I'm a huge motorsport fan. And I'd say Turn 10 for us for a long time in our first party has really been a technical showcase. Like Chris Tector, the team on the tech side, the stuff that they get the most out of the hardware, I think, of any of our first party teams. They just like, that's their focus, along with building a great racing simulator. And the game looks fantastic. And I can't wait for people to get to play. The ray tracing on track looks great. Giving people some options. You'll see all that as they kind of talk about more of the game. But Motorsport is like something that one of those franchises I've played since the beginning, and I can't wait for the full release.
Huh?
Yeah,
it's Motorsport is chef's kiss.
Well, and like kudos to Turn 10. They started with Motorsport, expanded to Horizon, so now they built like a sibling franchise to Motorsport. You know, they've just done such a really good job of growing the relevance of Forza, both for simulation and arcade players. Great job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Phil, I know one of the things in chat, and many of the fans really appreciate about you, is how much you love to play the games themselves. So I know just over here, if you can't see behind me, we've got the Stalker 2 demo, and you've taken that for a spin as well. It's been 16 years since the original, so can you tell us what stood out to you?
Yeah, you know, Stalker, if you played the first game, has kind of a unique setting and story, and it's really nice to see what they've done in this build of continuing the lore of what Stalker is about, what your role is in the world, and kind of how the world invites you into what your role is and your kind of task. I'm trying to do this without kind of spoiling too much.
You can spoil if you want.
No, that's their game. Like I don't want to do that. But I'll also say, you know, they're a dev that spends a lot of time perfecting the game in terms of the technology. I think they're still on that track. Like they're still, obviously the game's not done. So it's, but yeah, I just love that they've done a good job moving the Stalker kind of world forward, but being very tried and true to what Stalker's about.
Yeah, for sure. And to be totally honest, even under the best circumstances in games development, it's super tough. But for GSC, obviously, it's a bit more complex, their situation they've got there. So I want to know, what does it mean to you to see these guys get here and get a demo out of the door?
Yeah, you know, I've stayed in touch with the team over the years, and especially as you say, like the last couple of years, it's an emotional thing, right? Like you almost feel hollow asking them about how their game is.
Yeah, of course.
When you think about the world and what that they live in, and what that studio has gone through and really continues to go through. I think for them, I see, and they've talked about this when I've talked to them, that building the game has kind of been a refuge in a way, and it's cool to see that. You know, I hope it never gets replicated again in terms of something that has to happen. But I'll say for the team, the fact that they're here, I was playing, they were literally pushing a new build right as I was playing that build. So their attention to wanting to put their best foot forward, even under the most difficult circumstances. I have a ton of confidence in them, and they're on that journey. But it's, you know, it's an emotional thing when you're talking to a team that's going through. I don't want to talk about it in past tense, what that team is going through. So it's really special to me that they're here and that gaming can be part of how they're getting through it.
Yeah, for sure. And as well as being here, there are so many communities for so many different games.
Yeah.
There are RX ones. You've got Sea Thieves. I'm doing it again. Sea Thieves over there. You've got an ESO over there.
They can't see it, you know.
No, I know. I'm just
There's actually nothing over
I'm
there.
telling you where they all are.
It's an empty, like, there's nothing here. And you're just
Ignore
like
the
pointing
green screen. It's an illusion.
The grounded communities over there. It's actually not.
But what's it like for you to see all of these communities come together?
Community and gaming, to me, are linked. Like it's
100%.
From my early days of literally going to the arcade. I'm the old guy, but like that's the only way I could play that and Pong at my house. That's how I play video games. And there was a community in the arcade of like, hey, what's the new hot console? Not video game console, but actually arcade console cabinet that you're going to go play. And I love that today those communities, they're still physical. Like you asked, why are we here at Gamescom? Because we have a fan fest tonight.
Indeed,
it's going to be awesome with the local community and the people that are here, but also the virtual communities. And I think it's one of the unique things in video games, that video games can connect people across geographies, across races, religions. Like it is just a connector of people. And when it's a game like a Sea of Thieves, like a Grounded, like a Flight Sim, so many of our games now have these Elder Scrolls Online, which has a big, over there, has a big presence on our show floor.
And they've got a really nice table in there as well.
They do that big round table.
A really nice table. It's another one of the things on my list to see if I can pilfer. I won't lie to you.
We should steal that.
Yeah, we should.
But the thing, I also want to make sure on the community side, it's not just about multiplayer games. Like you find, like think about Skyrim.
Yeah.
You know, Skyrim has an amazing community around it, and it's not because there's a bunch of PvP or PvE, right? It's people come together for their shared love of the world and the characters and the lore and their role in that. I just think that's a very special part of gaming, and it's a privilege, I guess, for us at Xbox to have some franchises that are a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, what we're seeing here is, I think it fully opens to the public tomorrow and all.
It's the sweatshop tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, this is going to really pop off then.
In here. It's going to be warm.
You got the good day to come and sit here.
I'm here tomorrow. I'm here.
But
yeah, like, do people know? Like, today is what, the press day, right?
Yes,
is that what they call it? I don't know if that has an official name. I should know, but I don't know. And then tomorrow, the consumers, the players, come in. Have you ever seen like when they open the
running?
It's ridiculous.
And then eventually at some point, I'm going to stop pointing, but the escalators, and they get so busy.
Yeah.
Every time I come to Gamescom with someone new, I tell them you have to see the running when it opens and the escalators when they're full. It's great.
It's awesome to be back. And I think they feel like this might be one of the biggest Gamescom ever.
It feels it already, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's kudos to the team here who's kept this going. They went virtual for a while, but now we're here back, and there's so many fans and players here. It's like just such a special time.
And it's special for Xbox as well, as we've mentioned a few times on the show already, that it's the 10th anniversary of ID at Xbox.
I have my ID at Xbox.
There it is. He's sporting it. He knew what he was doing.
Wear it.
I'd love for you to reflect on any memories or moments you have from the introduction of ID and how it's gone over the past 10 years.
I'm going to start with a couple things.
Yeah.
One, we always have discussions internally when new things are going to happen on the console. And there's always some different kind of feelings about the impact. When free-to-play came to console, it'll be the end of the console if free-to-play comes to console. Some people think it is. But, like, you know, clearly the console's still there and free-to-play happened. ID at Xbox. Well, when we have unmanaged partners that are building games on Xbox, what does that mean for a console? Because we started with this silly thing where publishers had 2 slots of arcade games that they could go do. It was like a silly policy in Xbox. Opening it up and allowing anybody who submits and actually has good intent to build a game on the platform has led to some of the best games that have, people forget like that Fortnite actually came through ID at Xbox. When you ask about like some of the special moments, I have to go to games from places where we'd never seen games from Xbox. I remember going to the Brazil game show and meeting the devs behind Aritana. I'm probably missing the pronunciation. But it's this, I think it was the first Brazilian developed Xbox game. And it came through ID at Xbox, and this team of guys, we were in Sao Paulo, and they came together, and I met them at the show, and it was so cool just to think, it used to be there were like 3 places on the planet where games were built. And now you have games coming from all over the place, and people tell their stories through their lived experience and their world.
It's totally different stories, as you say, around the world. Yeah.
Now, whether it's explicit in like, I'm going to do a game about Brazil, or I'm going to do a game about something else, but through the lens of what I see in the world. Exactly. And that's the thing, whether it was like Candleman, which I think was the first Chinese developed ID at Xbox game. Like, I always love when we're finding new ID at Xbox games from new places and new partners. And I just think that's like, if we're going to find new players, we're going to have more creative, and the mix of those two things, ID has been fundamental. And 10 years ago, announced at Gamescom.
10 years.
Yeah,
Wowzers.
that's how old I am. Feels like yesterday. Or I don't remember it. I should say I don't remember.
I thought you were saying you were 10 years old then.
No.
That's a great job for a 10-year-old that you've got.
No, I'm like, no, but it's like that it was 10 years ago. And I remember, though, like, trepidation. What's going to happen when unmanaged developers can build console games? You know what happened? Some amazing things happened.
It did. So another thing that you talk about a lot as well is when you can play games whenever, however, and wherever you want. And I know that's something you really want to give to fans however possible. So I want to know what that commitment looks like both at Gamescom and maybe the months ahead, what that story is going to be.
The critical thing we look at Teams Xbox in terms of our success is how many players.
Yeah.
How many players do we have? And even more and more, how much are people playing? Like, do we have a platform that has games for kind of all days of all hours of the day? Sometimes you're playing with your family, and what can I go do? Sometimes it's just me time, and I want to go do things. And how many players show up? We look at our monthly active players, our daily active players, And when I say on Xbox there, whether you're playing on the cloud and you're streaming to a device that we don't know anything about, whether you're playing on a PC, and as Microsoft, we know something about the PC, or you're playing on one of our consoles. Like, those are all Xbox players. Or, like, flying over here, I'm playing on my ROG Ally on the airplane. And I think about that as my Xbox away from home, or my Steam Deck. Like, I want those things to feel as connected and as complete as an Xbox experience as any piece of hardware that we build. We will continue to focus on hardware. It's an important part of our team and what we can go do. But I don't want our hardware to be a limitation on who can actually feel like they're part of the Xbox community. If you buy hardware from us, we're going to do an awesome job supporting you. We want to make sure great games are there. If you have the device that you want to bring and be part of Xbox, we also want that to be 100% great on Xbox. And it's, as you said, it's putting the player's decision on where they want to play at the center of it.
And it's just there for them, whichever one they want to
That's
grab
right.
at that time.
And not only is it there, my save game moves with me, my community is there, so I can make progress on any platform I want to play on, and I can grind my characters, I can make my way through the story anywhere I've been. It's one of the best things about Starfield, pointing at it.
That's over there.
Yeah, I've been moving, I play on work, on my PC, when I go home, I sit on my console and I go play, and it's just a continuous experience for me, and everything moves. It's fantastic.
Amazing. So I also want to know, while we are here, is there anything you're particularly excited about trying, either on the booth, off the booth? What have you got your eyes on?
Well, Stalker 2 was one, so it was great to get to sit and talk to the team yesterday and just connect, right, and see how they're doing. I have this funny thing with Ed Boon, where Ed and I have known each other for a long time, head of the team behind Mortal Kombat, but we tend to cross ourselves on stage all the time. It happened last night at OLN.
Congratulations last night, by the way. Smashed
But
it.
accepting an award that team did on like an Xbox.
Yeah, but
I
you
didn't do it.
accepted it so well, Phil. Well done.
Thanks. I'm very good at coming out with a trophy and a microphone and accepting an award for work that other people did. And that team did awesome work. But I want to get over with Mortal Kombat. We had the same thing at, I still call it E3, though no one else does, but that June event, our showcase, but also I think he was in Keeley's, the Play Days thing, which was great. But we tend to fly by. So I saw him on stage, because he was on, I think, right after me as I was coming off stage, which is how we normally spend time together. But really great third parties here, and I know I'm supposed to pick some obscure indie game, but I want to sit down with Ed and get my hands on Mortal Kombat, so I'm hoping I get to do that.
I'm going to recommend to you, if you haven't yet, go play Little Kitty Big City. That's the
I have
one,
not.
That's the one
I'm not really a cat person, though.
Phil!
No.
You have
Are
to
we gonna fight?
spoil it, don't you? So I have to thank you now for the interview, and you've just gone and said you're not a cat person.
I'm a dog person. My dog's name is Oogie.
Oogie?
Oogie, O-O-G-I-E.
Oh, okay.
He's a rescue.
Maybe I'll let you off
He is
there.
the most awesomest dog ever.
Fine.
But yeah. It's so big kitty, big city. What would say?
Well, imagine if it was Big Kitty, Little City. That's a game.
Yeah.
Someone make that one. Well, Phil, we got to wrap there. You're absolutely fantastic as always. Thank you for joining us.
You are.
No, you are. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you.
Don't steal too much stuff, and I'm sure we'll speak to you soon. But now it's over to Benny and Maxi to close out the end of the show.
that was a cop pulling out, man. I just tooted. Hey, you affiliated? Hey, brother, can you hear me?
I can.
Are you affiliated?
What's the purpose for you asking?
I need help, man.
What do you need help with?
Well, I need to know if you're affiliated first or not with Green.
I work at Yellow Jack, if that helps.
Yeah, can you pull up here and talk to me, man? I'll show you my hands all the time. I ain't doing nothing crazy. I just need some help. Hey, so you know Jimmy? Do you know Jimmy Tough Knuckles?
Sir?
Is he affiliated?
He is.
Bro, he just got popped. Him, Samantha, and then a guy named Harry Richard. Do you know how to break the police?
Oh, busted. Okay.
Yeah. So, I tried to get him out. I took out 3 cops. I'm just kind of freaking out, man. We need to get them out. They're my people too. You know, I know I'm not Green Gang or anything, but I respect you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think everybody else is down at the wedding, man.
Oh man, how do I get him out? How do I get him out of jail? Because I know Jimmy was supposed to go to the wedding.
Yeah, he was supposed to go to the wedding.
Can you teach me how to break him out of jail?
I haven't done that yet either, man. Let me hop on radio and see if anything got.
See if somebody could just help me really quick, man. And I'll help with whatever. I don't care about going to jail, but I don't want them to go to jail. You know what I mean?
Second, I'm hopping into radio.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Do you happen to know Tony's number?
I do not. Are you Tony's date?
I'm his friend, and he asked me to go with him to the wedding, and then I got scared because there's a lot of people going there, and I was like, I don't think I can go. And like, he's so sad.
I was about to head to the wedding, but.
I wish I could help you. I'd go to the wedding with you, but I'm like dealing with some stuff right now. I'm trying to get my boy Jimmy out of jail. So, man, out of jail. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy up in here.
He's in jail.
Yeah, I think so. They're about to send him all. I gotta get him out.
What do you do this time?
He didn't do nothing. He just ran, man.
He just ran? He's just getting his exercise in? What is he doing?
From the police. He may have robbed something, but we ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna.
I don't know.
I wish I could help you. I'm sorry. He may have Tony's number, the guy in the Charger, or the Challenger. What's your name?
He might know.
What's your name?
What's my name?
Yeah.
I'm Chloe.
Chloe, nice to meet you. My name's Tommy John, like the surgery.
Oh, Tommy John, like the surgery.
Yeah, like baseball surgery.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Hey, so Jimmy's in radio right now. I don't think he's talking, but Lizzie says that I told her that you were asking about Jimmy, but she said, yeah, we're kind of in a situation right now, so I don't know if they're already tracking what's going on, brother.
You said Lizzie is in a situation?
No, Lizzie said that they were in a situation, so I'm guessing she's either in something right now or she knows about Jimmy.
Well, she wasn't with her. I was with him. We real quick, I'll be 100 straight up with you. We robbed the jewelry store. We didn't even get nothing. We left. They chased us. A shootout ensued. They shot me. EMS took me out of handcuffs. I hid in the bush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So it was just.
You want to hop in with me, and we'll go over to the wedding and see if anybody else from Green's over there that might be able to.
Yeah, if that's cool. If that's cool, I'll come with you. Can I wear no shirt?
Hold up real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Question. Are you going to the wedding?
I am.
What bird?
If you check Twitter, it lets you know, but let me double check. I believe the post said it's at 2057.
Or actually, do you just have Tony's number?
I do not have his number. Well, maybe. Let me check. No, I do not. I just he's not even in radio right now, ma'am. But it's at 2057. What's your name?
Thank you very much.
Guys,
Chloe.
Anybody in radio yet? We're trying to get y'all.
All right, I'll let them know you're up here.
Yeah, we're at MRPD.
Chloe,
thank
right?
you.
All right. Y'all are at MRPD?
Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe.
All right, I'll be right back.
Says they're at MRPD. How long y'all getting?
They haven't even talked to us yet.
Man, I hope nobody steals my car, man. That's the nicest car I got.
We'll get it back.
I appreciate it.
I'll lend you a car if you need one.
No, I got other cars, man. I appreciate you, man. I just want to get them out. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. This is where everybody else should be, though, so this is your best option.
All right, cool. Oh, man, I ditched my shirt, man. I don't know what to do. About to show up to a wedding shirtless. Who's getting married?
I believe... Oh, wrong turn. Okay, we can go this way. I believe it's Allie and somebody else. I'm just going... I don't know if I know who it is. I'm just going up to work with you.
Hey, fresh out of Kelly said, Bobby, I swear, is the nicest guy, man. Y'all are wild. Mike Kelly, thank you for the roses. Crazy 5 Ranch, thank you for the pizza. I appreciate you so much.
That's a crappy spot for a wedding, man. Allie and Riddle.
Guys, I don't like leaving people behind.
Hey,
So
we followed the limo.
is not at the wedding.
Where they at?
Tony tried to take a cop hostage to go get them. The cops didn't comply. Lizzie went in and took Tony, and now they're on the run.
Oh, man. We got to help them. Well, man, you're supposed to be going to the wedding, man. I messed up your whole day.
Nah, I'm here to support Green. If they need a pickup, I got to get a pickup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh! We just killed that guy, man. Hit and run, hit and run, hit